Oh my gosh, Ross. I feel
Yes.
like we are both 90 Day Fiancé super fans. I'm so excited for you hosting the tell all. What was it like when you found out that this was going to happen?
Well, for starters, I am so excited that you're a super fan too, because I feel like if you're a 90 dayer, you totally get it. So I
Yep.
see you, you see me, right?
Yes.
I have spent so many hours in this universe, like loving it, talking back at my TV. So I feel just like you would feel if you got the call, like we're gonna, put me in, coach, is how I felt, you
Yeah.
know? It was like I had prepared my entire life for this. You know that old saying, like, spend 10,000 hours before you're an expert in something? I have done that. And so I was like ready. All I needed was the suit. Let's go.
No, and I'm so excited. I feel like you, as a super fan, are going to know exactly what to ask all the cast members. What kind of prep went into this? Or I feel like you just probably know exactly what the fans want to know.
Well, it helps that I am a super fan of the show because I'm an active viewer. I'm talking to the TV, I'm pausing. I don't have a 90-day group text. I have multiple 90-day group texts, and so what I wanted to do is to do it how I knew I could do it. And I felt a responsibility, I have to say, to the fans. Like, I want to get it right. I want to go in and ask it in a way that I feel like you and I and every other super fan would, to get the answers we want, and to have like fun doing it too. So I took it seriously and I had so much fun.
We just saw an all new teaser, and Jasmine comes face to face with Gino. What was that moment like? Because I feel like they are some of the most, they're a wild couple or ex
I
couple,
mean,
I should say.
they are linked forever, and there's something about their energy, when they're together. I had Gino on set first, and Gino is Gino, and you gotta love him. When Jasmine came out, it was an entirely different Gino.
Mhm.
And their fireworks sort of put the 4th of July to shame.
Okay. That's an ultimate tease, I feel like. Now, do you think that Gino could still have feelings for Jasmine? A lot of fans seem to think that maybe he still has some lingering feelings. Or what was your take after seeing them interact face to face?
There's definitely still emotion there. There are feelings.
Yes.
I don't know which way those feelings go, but there was definitely an emotional reaction. There was a physical and a chemical reaction when they were in the same room too. I have to tell you, I was on the edge of my seat.
Oh my gosh. That
Just as a fan up close. Yeah, it was pretty great. I have to say, like, I would have paid for that seat.
No, I just when I saw it in the trailer, I was like, "Oh my goodness, thank goodness they're bringing them face to face because I need to see the drama of what happens."
Well, the drama and the context, and that's what Jasmine brings. We are following Gino's storyline. That
Mhm.
he's single, right? We see when we meet him, he has a situationship with Natalie, but he is essentially single, and we see that playing out. But Jasmine has context, and they still have a role in each other's lives, and it was fascinating to see the advice that Jasmine would give somebody who was dating or thinking about dating Gino.
Yes. And in the 90-day world, there's also a lot of, happy moments. We just found out that Cortney is engaged to her new man. What was your
Can
reaction when
you
that was announced?
I mean, I'm so happy for Courtney. I am. I love that she is kind of living her best active senior life right now, and in like her mid 30s. I get it. Yeah, somebody who lives in Palm Springs when I'm, not in New York. I get it. She's completely fascinating, and the fact that her fiance Phil is the same age as her parents in like a retirement community in Florida. Um, is a twist I didn't see coming, slash, I'm so here for it. I mean, like, it's sort of perfect.
Well, I just thought the last episode where we saw Colt reveal that he was living with her and her now fiance, I thought that was a twist, and I feel like nothing could have topped that. But now here we are.
Well,
What
that's
did
the
you make of?
brilliance.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what did you make of Colt like living with them? I thought that was crazy.
Well, that's the beauty of 90 Day, right? Like, they are still able to completely shock us. And it's not like a storyline that people are in a room creating. This is like real life. These are the choices that these human beings are making. And that's the thing about life, is you just never know what's next. I didn't see that coming. But it's kind of perfect when you think about it. What could Colt do to sort of top what he's done in the past? move in with Courtney and her 66-year-old boyfriend, now fiance. It is one of those things that like my jaw was on the floor. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just had no idea that that was coming when it happened in the show. Nope.
No, but when I was watching it and I saw Phil, I don't know about you, but I was like, now who's that?
That's what I thought too. I was like, how did you guys become friends?
What? No, and yeah. Um, and then the way that they sort of let it unveil itself, like, oh, Courtney's down there because we have a date tonight, was like, what? I remember I paused it and I was like, to my husband, I was like, babe, get in here. But I love that this show does that. I think that's why we love it so much, is that we just don't know what's going to happen next.
It's so true. Now, speaking of Colt, I spoke with Kim earlier in the season, and she teased that at the tell-all, there might be some drama that goes down between her son Jamal and Colt. What can you tease about that?
Well, I will correct Kim. There isn't some drama that goes down. There is a ton of drama that goes down. Um, and it was another one of those. There were a few moments. I came in very prepared for
Mhm.
every storyline to go through. What I couldn't prepare for were the drama that played out sometimes behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And there weren't a lot of scenes with there were no scenes with Jamal and Colt, so I didn't know what their connection would be like. But right away, it's clear that there's beef between them,
Yeah.
and it got intense, really intense, surprisingly intense.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to tune in and find out what happens because when Kim told me that at first, I was like, that's seemingly so random. I would have never connected those two as having drama.
Totally. I didn't see it coming. I just thought it was like, welcome Jamal to talk about your mom, you and your mom's story, and then all of a sudden, and that's what happens. You sort of have to follow where the drama goes.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, this storyline was playing out between Jamal and Colt, and of course, I had to follow it. I had to let it play out,
Mhm.
and I was shocked
Yeah.
um, by the animosity.
And I know that we talked about Courtney's new engagement. Another engagement was teased in the teaser, which was Liz's engagement. What can you tell about how everyone reacted to that moment? Because I feel like we've seen a lot going on with Liz this season where but then she has a guy back home, and we don't really know what is going on there. So what was your reaction when you found that out?
Well, Liz does love to be engaged. There's been a few. Okay, I am curious about who she's engaged to. Wouldn't you like to meet whoever that is?
That's a
Um,
good tease. That's a good tease.
yeah, I like who is that? And I would hope to find out more about that. I also think that this connection she has with Via is deep, is a deep connection, and I wonder what would happen if they came face to face.
Ooh, I feel like the producers could make it happen. So kind of hope
I
that
don't know.
happens.
I'm not promising anything. I'm just saying I think that would be fascinating.
I think so too. I think so too. Well, we'll have to tune in and see how it all plays out with that. One other thing that I would be remiss not to ask about is obviously the Sophie and Pedro situation. That was something at the beginning of the season. I was shocked. I was like, what is happening? This crossover that I never saw
Yeah,
coming.
yeah.
We've seen a lot of drama unfold with them this season, especially with his family. And I kept saying in my recaps, I was like, she really needs to watch the Family Chantel to understand what his family is like. Are we going to see more of his family at the tell all, or what can you tell me about what happens with all of that?
It's a brilliant idea. Just print out like the DVD or like put it like the episodes on a little file and hand that out to any potential suitor for Pedro and be like, you just need to know everything in here, right? Here's a how-to manual. Um, I, like you, I'm like riveted by these season intersects, of family members of the 90 Day universe. I love when they start dating from different seasons. I think the first one was Jamal and Veronica. That's the first one I was really aware of, remember a few
Mhm.
years ago.
Mhm.
And right away I was like, ooh, I want more of this.
Yeah.
So when I saw the Pedro and Sophie connection, that their story was going to play out on the show, I was, front row for it. It's fascinating to see how that played out and where they are now. I, of course, want to talk to Pedro's family because I think what happened with his sister Nicole was the beginning of the end for, don't you think that was the
Yeah.
moment where there was some hesitation, there was some things, but there wasn't like insurmountable hurdles for them? To me, it felt like when Nicole at that birthday party had that moment with Sophie that there was probably no way they could come back from that. So I think Nicole has a lot to answer for, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we'll get to see what she says because as I was watching that, I also thought the same thing where I was like, I don't think these two are going to last long term because of all this drama. It's a lot.
Or even get a real chance.
Yeah.
Maybe who knows what would have happened had they had a real chance without that kind of drama, unnecessary drama there. So I think there's a lot to dissect with them. They also had entering that they had such different expectations. Sophie thought it was one thing, Pedro thought it was another. I'd love to clear that up.
Definitely. Now, which cast members or moments do you think will shock and surprise viewers the most during this tell all?
Um, I want to tell you something without giving you too much specific.
Sure.
Um, so we all know who's on that stage, right? We all know who's going to be there for the most part.
Mhm.
There will be some surprises as well that we don't see coming, but um, there was drama that I knew nothing about. And it's not the Colt Jamal drama. There was this other moment that shocked me so much. I could not have prepared for it. And even when you watch it, you'll see me say, like, I have to set my cards down now because we are in uncharted territory. And I'm I need this to air ASAP because I haven't talked about it with anybody and it's not healthy for me. So I need this to happen so that I can talk about it with you and people on the street. There's a great jaw dropper that you're gonna see.
Wow. Well, I'm going to be watching with a very close eye for that moment because I can't wait to see what happens.
Well, I will give you this. It initiates a walk off, which in tell all talk is as good as it gets.
I know. I love the walk-offs. I know that's bad, but I'm like, it's always the most crazy moments.
Yeah. Yeah. So
uh,
we get one and it comes out of nowhere.
oh my gosh. Well, I can't wait for that. Would you be down to come back for more tell-alls in the future? I feel like you seem like you'd be a perfect fit.
It's like I will tell you, this makes me believe that prayer works. I will say, I am so happy to do this. I just wouldn't shut up about the level of my fandom and the fact that TLC and the geniuses that make 90 Day sort of were paying attention and asking me to join. I love the show. I would, I would, I would be honored.
Well, I think the fans are very excited. I've been a fan of yours for a long time and you are so funny and fun to watch and I feel like you're just the perfect fit for this and I'm so excited to see how it all plays out. I feel like you're going to be a great balance to all of the craziness that's going to be happening on that stage because as we know as 90 Day fans, a lot of craziness does happen at the tell-alls. They're the juiciest and craziest episodes of all. Now, speaking of these tell-alls, my final question for you is can you describe this tell-all in 3 words?
Well, I'm going to describe it as a super fan, and then I'm going to describe it as
Okay.
Ross Matthews. As a super fan, I'm going to say intense, authentic, fulfilling. And that's as a super fan of the show.
Okay.
Dramatic, too. Can we put dramatic in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
But as maybe it's dramatic instead of fulfilling, whatever. But for Ross Matthews, the 3 words are dream come true. Dream come
Perfect.
true. And I really just want to tell you, and I just really mean this to the fans, I went into this really wanting to make you guys happy. And so I really hope that you are. Because I am. I felt afterwards, I felt like that's how I wanted to do it, and that's what I hoped it would be. So I hope I make you proud.